Hello everyone, welcome to Moto Mengy. I've been riding a motorcycle now my entire life, since before I was able to drive legally actually. And I've never had an accident on a motorcycle, so I consider myself a pretty good rider. I've got hundreds of thousands of miles of experience, been across the country several times, yada yada yada. But am I really a good rider? I mean, to all you motorcycle riders out there, how often do you really think about how good your riding skills are? I mean, how often do you actually evaluate them and reevaluate them? Well, something happened to me recently that made me reevaluate my skills. And it made me ponder the question, am I leaning the wrong way while riding a motorcycle? So two recent catalysts made me reevaluate how I lean when riding a motorcycle. Catalyst one, Fortnine's video. Fortnine is a motorcycle channel on YouTube. He posted a video, I'll post a picture to it here, about leaning and riding, or leaning while riding, or whatever it was called. I forget what the title of the video was. Where he basically evaluated the three methods of leaning while riding a motorcycle. Neutral, with the bike, leaning to the outside, meaning away from the curve, and leaning to the inside, meaning with the curve. And when to use all three styles and that kind of stuff. And that video got over 1 million views, like 1.6 million or something like that. And it caused a lot of other response videos in the motovlogging community and a lot of discussion in the motovlogging forums and stuff too. That was Catalyst 1. Catalyst 2, I recently got a comment from a viewer named Aakburns. I'll post the comment here from the screen, you can read it. He posted a comment on my Pan America review video, a test ride video, not a review, but a test ride, where Aakburns pretty much said, or suggested I practice leaning better, that I was leaning bad or incorrectly, and I responded to it kindly. I'll post that here too. Basically said, thanks for the advice, I think something like that. But I have to admit, my gut reaction to that comment was, I've been riding my whole life. I've got all this experience riding a motorcycle. I know how to lead a bike. But then I thought about it a little bit. I decided to go back and watch my Pan America video from an objective point of view, like just watch it closely, and to see if I could notice what he saw or what made him make that comment. And was he just trolling me, or did he actually see something in my riding that wasn't good or was incorrect? But thanks to the power of filming and video, I can go back, look at my footage while I'm riding, and evaluate it. So I'll post footage from my Pan America test ride video here with me commenting on it, and I'll show you what I found out. All right, so here I am looking at the Pan America view in question that Aakburns made the comment on. I'm gonna look through this and look for any instances where I might be able to see where I was leaning poorly as well. Here's a left turn, slight left turn it's a very gradual turn, no big deal. Here comes a left turn, about 35 miles an hour. Don't look too bad. The right turn. Now here, that right turn didn't look so good to me actually. Again, the left, I do seem to remain neutral leaning in the left, but also not so much on the right maybe. Here's another right turn coming up. And that was a very gentle right turn, not a big deal. Here comes a series of turns. Left. It looks like I'm leaning left. Now there again, that right, I seem to have a more upright position in the right turn. And here again as well. So maybe Aakburns has a point. I think I begin to see what he was talking about. Another left turn coming up. Now again, that left turn looked pretty good to me. Looked like I turned my head into it and leaned into it pretty good. It almost seems like my left turns are okay, but my right turns aren't. Again, there, a right turn, and I'm remaining upright. I'm not leaning into the right turns or remaining neutral. Another right turn, another looks like I'm staying upright. So it seems to be a pattern here. I think my left turns look okay to me, but my right turns don't. Here's another right turn. Again, I don't look like I'm leaning into the turn very well. Now my GoPro is mounted a little off center to my helmet too, to the left. But I don't think that's causing this. I think I'm definitely remaining more upright on the right turns and riding neutral in the left turns, which is more like how I should be at these kind of speeds. Another right turn, another looking like I'm too upright to me. In my opinion, I should be leaning more to the right there. But the left looks okay. Again. Another left, I seem to be remaining neutral on the bike, which is how I feel I should be leaning, because, you know, I'm not a sport bike rider, so I'm not doing track days or anything. Here comes a series of turns at highway speed. 75 miles an hour, plus or minus a few miles an hour. Right turn coming up. It's a very gentle right turn though. That didn't look, I seem to remain neutral in that right turn, more so than in the previous curves in this video. But that left turn, I definitely seem very neutral there in the left at highway speed, looking good. Another right turn coming up. And again, I look a little, that's not bad though, actually. I think that leans pretty good. So at highway speeds, I seem like I'm doing okay, but in slower speeds, twisties and stuff, it's almost like I'm remaining neutral in the lefts, but remaining upright in the rights. For whatever reason. So yeah, as you can see, some of my leans into my Pan America test ride weren't ideal. I can see what Aakburns saw, I think. I can see what he's talking about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the Goldwing for a ride and really focus on how I'm leaning the bike. Like, pay attention to it to see if my tendency is to lean good or not, to see if I tend to lean against the curve or neutral or whatever. Was it just the Pan America, or do I always do that? Let's go for a ride and find out. So I'm going out for a ride where I'm going to consciously focus about my leaning, or actually pay attention to it. And what better road to do that on than Gold Mine Road? This road has lots of curves. And for those who aren't familiar with Gold Mine Road, Pennsylvania, I'll put a link to my road spotlight on it up in the card, the I button, whatever. All right, so first turn. See, now that I'm thinking about it, I am leaning properly, but you know what? I mean, as I saw in my Pan America video, as I pointed out, I definitely did some leaning or some bad turns in that video where I was more upright where I should have been neutral or leaning over instead in some fast turns. And now that I'm out riding on the bike, my tendency is kind of to stay upright in turns, actually. All right, so when I turn into a curve, and my tendency is to kind of stay upright a little bit. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm turning properly. You know, it's kind of interesting, actually. Like, when you're riding a motorcycle and you turn into a turn, you're supposed to look where you're going. That's something you learn in the motorcycle training course, the motorcycle safety program. And it's true, you really should learn to look into a curve, into a turn. I know a lot of motorcyclists don't. They kind of watch the road ahead. They get like tunnel vision to a degree. But when you do actually turn your head properly, then the correct lean kind of just happens on its own, actually. Like, the very act of looking where you're supposed to be looking kind of leans you naturally where you're supposed to be. But if you watch ahead of your bike rather than into the turn, then the tendency is to stay more upright. And that's interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it while I'm riding, like normally when you, well, me anyway, when I'm out on the bike, I just hop on the bike and I go. I don't think about it. I just ride. But since watching that Fortnite video, and since having Aakburns point out my leans in the Pan America video, I've been a little more conscious of what I'm doing on the bike in turns. And you know, I have noticed a little bit of a problem there for myself, I think. I hate to say it, but Aakburns may have been right. I mean, I clearly saw him when I reviewed the video. I see what he's talking about. Now again, the placement of my Hero 8 on my helmet does throw it off a little bit because the camera's not centered on my body on the axis. It's a little to the left of center, so from the camera's point of view, from the Hero 8's point of view, it might look like I'm a little further over than I actually am, which might be why in that Pan America video, my left turns look great and the right turns look bad. The Hero 8 on my helmet, the placement of it might have something to do with that. I find that interesting because I've been riding for so long, I mean, all my life, since I was, well heck, since before I was able to drive, I was riding motorcycle, dirt bikes. And technically I had my first road bike before I was able to legally ride it on the road. I was 15 when I bought my first Kawasaki 250 LTD. But this is one of those examples of why it's important to train and retrain. You know, take the motorcycle safety course every couple of years maybe, or every once in a while at least. I haven't taken it personally since I was 16 years old. And that was like 30 years ago, give or take. A little more than that, actually. Yeah, I'm old. And while I remember the lessons I learned in the motorcycle safety program, maybe I've fallen out of practice on a couple of those. Makes me wonder if I need to review all my riding, which wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, constant learning is a good thing. Training and retraining often is also a good thing. And this might be one of those examples where I need to pay a little more attention to how I'm riding, how I'm taking turns, how I should be taking them, and how I might be taking a lot of them wrong or doing things wrong. It is definitely a thing though. I seem to turn better to the left than I do to the right. Now I'm right-handed, so that's opposite what I would think it would be. Like I would expect myself to turn better to the right than the left, but no, I definitely find left turns easier than right turns with regards to stance and posture. Maybe that's because most right turns are blind turns or partially blind turns. Here in America, you know, we ride on the right side, we ride and drive on the right side of the road. So when you're going around a right turn, typically it's at least a partially blind turn, or a very blind turn for that matter. Maybe that has something to do with it too. Maybe it's because you can't see around the curve when going to the right. Oftentimes you tend to, I'll say myself, I tend to stay upright more than I should, just kind of trying to see around the turn. Maybe that's a factor. I'm not sure. Probably not, but it could be, I guess. All right, so as you can tell, I may need to practice leaning a little more. It's not to say how I'm riding is bad or terrible, but it's definitely not as good as I expected to see. And I think I might actually be a little out of practice leaning, especially to the right, especially. I mean, looking at my videos and my test ride, my right turns could use some work, I think. And I didn't expect to see that. So I think Aakburns had a point. And I'd like to say now publicly, thank you Aakburns for pointing that out and for having the courage to make that comment. So my advice to other motorcycle riders out there is maybe do the same. Maybe just Go for a ride on your bike and really think about how you're leaning and how you're riding, and if what you're doing is good or not, or safe or not, or ideal or not even. Because it can't hurt to have a critical eye back on yourself. And oftentimes we learn more from our mistakes than our victories. So I have to say, I definitely think I learned something here. So on that note, thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. If you have any comments or questions of your own, post them down below in the video. And that's it. It's a beautiful blue sky day today. I'm gonna go for a ride. Maybe somewhere twisty to practice by leaning. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, ride safe. See you next time.